Good morning. I'm going to start with reading a few verses and then reading the story behind a hymn. Okay, 2 Corinthians 4, 7 through 15. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the surpassing greatness of the power will be of God and not from ourselves. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not despairing, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying about in the body the dying of Jesus, so that the life of Christ also may be manifested in our body. For we who live are constantly being delivered over to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus also may be manifest in our mortal flesh. So death works in us, but life in you. But having the same spirit of faith according to what is written, I believed, therefore I spoke. We also believe, therefore we also speak, knowing that he who raised the Lord Jesus will raise us also with Jesus, and will present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, so that the grace which is spreading to more and more people may cause the giving of thanks to abound the glory of God. All right. And the hymn I'm going to be reading the history behind is Wherever He Leads, I'll Go. It was 1936, and two friends serving together at a Sunday school conference in Alabama were at lunch, sharing what God was doing in their lives. One, a missionary to Brazil, home on furlough, told the other, a hymn writer, leading the music for the conference, that a health issue would keep him from returning to the country he had grown to love. The news, received just days before, had broken his heart. The hymn writer asked, "What will you do?" And through tears, the missionary, which was R.S. Jones, told the hymn writer, which is B.B. McKinley, "Wherever he leads, I will go." McKinley was so moved that he penned the classic hymn that afternoon and sang it that night after Jones had preached, recounts Terry C. Terry, a musicologist who wrote his doctoral dissertation about McKinley. Since then, the song has been sung at invitation times and crusades, revivals, and worship services. We may not always know where he will lead, but we know we can choose to follow. The next time we stand at a crossroads of indecision, we are asked what we'll do. May we have the grace to reply, like Jones and McKinley, "Wherever he leads, I'll go." Tragedy strikes us at all different times in our lives. For the believers, those hardships inform our faith through the experience of God's grace at work in our life. Difficulty is the place where we learn the greatest lessons about God's faithfulness to us. As we saw in 2 Corinthians 4, 7 through 15, all things work together for good and to the glory of God. Like in the story, for example, Mr. Jones was discouraged because he felt like his mission was done. He lost the country he loved. He couldn't go back, and it was hard. But his story impacted that songwriter to write that song, which has impacted thousands of lives since, and is still impacting lives more than he could have done by himself. And lastly, a quote I found by Mike Harland that I think fits well with the story. The songs we sing in the darkest nights will be the songs that show the world the unwavering faithfulness of our Father who loves us so much. And I'm going to have Dad lead Sweet Are the Promises, 594.